Hello, everyone. This video, we're going to talk about effective and ineffective. The really big thing about team is whenever we're looking at things work, things doesn't work, it's very important to not make wrong of others and to not make wrong of yourself. So the way I coach will always going with uh, say my coach coming to me saying, okay, I got triggered, he got triggered, this is what I say. And then I always develop this saying, okay, if you continue this route, this will be the outcome. And then there's absolutely nothing wrong if you choose to continue to be in your point of view. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But by choosing that choice, you're also choosing, okay, your wife will be triggered, your marriage will go this way. You're also choosing the result, but absolutely nothing wrong with the choice. Now, I fully develop that first choice, and then I say, okay, now considering there is also a second choice, and the second choice is you can choose to be instead of being on level 2 being triggered, you can choose to be in level 4. In this case, when you choose to be in level 4, you're 100% responsible for your wife being triggered, for her reaction, and then you're also 100% taking responsibility of how she feels and how her life is going to be. And
Quick question. I'm sorry, quick question. When you say level 2 and level 4, you are referring to the levels of responsibility.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes. Um, and so whenever you choose that, and then that will lead to a different result. And so in the coaching, I always like illustrate both of the path. And once you fully illustrate both of the paths, I will say, okay, now you choose. I find having my team want to have full power to choose. And many times, some of them saying, okay, this time I just want to choose in being triggered. I say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you are choosing, your relationship is going to fail. And that is okay. So, so the opposite of that is I find it's very ineffective whenever my coaches start making wrong of others and making wrong of themselves. And the moment uh, uh, you make wrong of anything you say afterwards, that doesn't matter because it goes straight into defensive.
So it sounds like making wrong might trigger a point of view and
Yes,
already always listening.
exactly. So as a team two, the way you coach is to actually navigate so that it doesn't trigger the other person.
When you say
And
the other person, the team one,
the team one, yes.
okay.
And also another thing is uh, the the communication, we're only dealing with effective or ineffective. It's not a right way to do things, or it's not a wrong way of doing things. It's just I try this, it's ineffective. Okay, let me try that. Oh, that's ineffective as well. Let me try that. Oh, that works. So that's effective. Because the whole process of coaching and team is try and error, try and error, try and error to help the team one finding their own leadership. So something I say might be effective for me, but my team one can say the same thing might be ineffective for her. So she has to discover what works for her.
Oh, this is brilliant. So there's no absolutes of what is effective. Even if I've been effective at doing X all of my life, every person, every scenario is a new variable. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work anymore.
Exactly. The effectiveness has to deal with the person who says it, but it also have to deal with the person who uh, listened it. So, for example, I can say the same thing to A, that's effective with A, but I can say exactly the same thing to B, is ineffective with B. So the whole trial and error, that is the development of leadership.
I'm looking. So it's almost like the development of leadership is a game in itself.
It is to find out how do I communicate with different personalities,
Ooh,
and how do I approach this type of personality with this way of communication that's going to be effective. But then I switch to another person, and that person is different than the first person. How do I say that differently so that it's effective with second person? And the beauty of the team is it concentrates the communication in a very short period of time, in 1 year, that I'm able to talk into like a 20, 30 different personalities. And I develop the sense, like in each personality, how do I say it? Because everyone has a different point of view.
right.
And and for a different point of view, my approach has to adjust according to the listening of that person. And that exploration is the development.
So here's what I'm also hearing. Each quarter, when we're switching coachees and coaches or committed colleagues, each is an opportunity to learn how to communicate with someone. Every time I change my accountability, it is an opportunity to communicate within that accountability with other people. I mean, every time it's just another game. It's just another game. It's just another game.
Exactly, exactly. And then on top of that, the training developer of team 2 is really anchored on how many people you coach. That you have to coach enough people in order for you to start developing the sense to be effective. Like I would say, probably 20 to 30 people. Once you're coaching 20 to 30 people, you start seeing the commonalities of different personalities. You start developing, oh, this is how my leadership will exist, and my style of leadership will work for me. So and so that's why it takes a team to a whole year
Mm-hmm.
to actually start seeing what style of coaching, what style of leadership, what style of communicating will become effective. And as a team too, you will notice the time as you become mastery of that, the time that it takes for you to coach becomes shorter and shorter,
Mm-hmm.
because now you start knowing what to say right to the point,
Mm-hmm.
and just hit the point of the person you're coaching.
So another way of looking at it, because there's in some teams, they don't have 20 people in the team, and they may
Mm-hmm.
never get to 20 by the time they complete their
Mm-hmm.
year. It may stay, you may top out at 10 people you've ever encountered on your team. However, the um, the accountabilities give you access to other people. So when you get into smaller groups, sometimes I call them pods, sometimes it's just a group call where you're contributing to each other, maybe not necessarily coaching someone, but the contribution. And you learn as you become, as you are responsible for what comes out of your mouth, what is
Mm-hmm.
effective and ineffective
Mm-hmm.
with each type of personality. And maybe it's also bringing this into your own personal game in the world.
Exactly. And on top of that, as you become more senior in team 2, uh, by coaching, I'm not just saying coaching your team once. I'm also talking about coaching your team one to coach their team member.
Mm,
And so literally when your team one has their game, and their game has 14 member, you're actually getting experience of 5 personalities right there.
mm.
Because each team member of their game, you have to coach your team one to approach differently. and and then of course when you bring that to your own life, you start seeing, oh, uh, my boss is like that, my spouse is like that, my children is like that, and you start seeing the commonalities of human being.
Oh, I love that. Well, and this is a good time to bring up this one phrase that we like to say, do not coach your loved ones. You can consider coaching, maybe just having a conversation, How do you relate to this person?
Exactly.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Kai.
Is there any final questions?
No, this was really good. I can see team ones are going to want to listen to this call as well. Thank you.
Okay, great.